Growing up, I was a bookworm. I loved the feeling of getting sucked into a world that I never experienced and seeing the world through a different set of eyes and perspective. I always look forward to meeting these characters that probably I will never encounter in real life. It might sound a little pathetic, but these characters became my best friends. I adore them, I rooted for them, and I empathize for them. I mean, I did have real friends, real human friends, but I cherished my imaginary friends a lot. What I like about reading is that you can indirectly experience what it would be like going through a life crisis or living a very successful life that everybody dreams of. You can even time travel to any year or era, or you can learn a language like I did. When I first came to the States at the age of 23, I spoke zero English. There are so many embarrassing stories because of my broken English, but I will save that for the next time. Anyways, I used to read a lot. And then life hit me hard when I started taking prereqs for dental school and I stopped reading books. And now I'm finally done with my unnecessarily extensive educational journey, and I also got a lot of time due to COVID. Hi! This guy has a lot of free time too. What are you doing, man? Anyways, yeah, so I started reading again. There was so much to catch up to since I haven't read for like 7 years. I mean, I probably read maybe 10 books for the last 7 years. So I've been reading new books that I've purchased lately and old books that I already had for many years. And I started to reading Korean books as well. So today I wanted to share my 5 absolute favorite books that changed my life. I personally believe that your values are at the core of who you are. The values that you believe in influence your decisions in life, thus they have power to change your life. The books that I'm going to share today have had a huge impact on my life because it changed my values. And they kind of guided me to find myself and allow me to hone my values. I don't particularly like to read the same books over and over, but I've read these books multiple times, and that's how you know how much I love these books. And these books are the ones that I will turn to when I feel lost and not sure what to do with my life. So I just wanted to share these books with you guys in hopes that it will shed a light upon your path as well. So here we go. I've always wished for a mentor that I can always turn to and ask questions that are not clear to me. I mean, I've encountered many great teachers and mentors in the past, but this book quickly became one of my best life mentors. It's Tuesday with Morrie by Mitch Albom. This book is his memoir of his Professor Morrie. One day, Mitch found out his Professor Morrie was diagnosed with ALS. Knowing that Professor Morrie doesn't have much time left, Mitch Albom started visiting him every Tuesday as he used to back in college. Just like that, Professor Morrie's very final class on how to live a meaningful life began. This book teaches you what are the things that truly matter in life and how to find your way when you're lost. When I first encountered this book, I just moved to the States from Korea. I was learning a new language and adjusting myself to a new culture and environment. Basically, I met this book when I turned my life upside down and had to start from scratch. I don't know if you can relate, but I think a lot about why I do things I do and why I react to something in a certain way. I just have a lot of questions about myself and things around me. This book taught me not only how to create my own life and culture, but also how to understand and respect others. When I was reading the book, Morrie's humanity, strength, and wisdom touched me so deeply, and it changed my perspective 180 degrees. And I truly believe that it will do the same for you. Seriously, you will find countless valuable life advice on how to love yourself and others, how to deal with your emotion, and ultimately how to live a meaningful life. I'm truly thankful that Mitch Albom decided to share his experience and make a book about it because it really changed my life. I don't know about you, but I love fiction. The science nerd side of me enjoys reading something straight to the point with an evidence-based approach because that makes everything logical and clear to understand. But sometimes I enjoy reading a story that has different messages behind it and gives me room to interpret it in my own way. People take away different messages from a story, and I think that's the beauty of fiction. So this story is one of those stories that makes you think and dig deeper to uncover the hidden message, which in this case, pursue your dream no matter what. It's a story of a shepherd boy named Santiago who decided to give up on everything he has and follow his dream of finding great treasure. During his journey, he encounters so many obstacles, but he doesn't give up. I think there are so many powerful messages embedded in this book about how to go after your dream and take action in a metaphorical manner. When I read this book, I resonate with this story so deeply and strongly. I think it's because I identify myself with the boy, because I also left everything I had behind to pursue my dream career as a dentist. So I could feel all the emotions Santiago felt in every corner of his journey. When I finished reading this book, it left me feeling hopeful with my own journey. Literally, this book gave me hope and kept me going when I was pre-dental struggling, getting into dental schools, and it helped me push through my dental journey. Now I achieved one of my life goals, becoming a dentist. I can't agree more with the fact that when you follow your heart and dream, whole universe conspires for its happening. It really does. I highly recommend this book to someone who's hesitating, pursuing their dreams, or worried about uncertainty in life. Happiness to me is quite arbitrary and vague concept to understand. Looking back, I always looking for joy in my life, but I just didn't know how. Or I had it already and didn't know it was there. Maybe some people attempted, but it always left me more questions about happiness. But I finally found a book that explains about happiness in a sense that I can understand and totally relate. Sulfur Happy by Mo Gauda provides an insightful review and analysis on what happiness is and how to be happy by presenting us an equation for happiness and how to solve it. Mo Gauda is a brilliant and successful engineer who was a former executive at Google X. But regardless of his achievements, he was always not so happy. And when he confronted his son's sudden death, he was in so much pain and anger. His son died from a routine surgery, appendectomy. I don't know if you guys know, appendectomy is a very simple procedure that has less than 1% mortality rate. I can't even imagine how I would feel like if I lost my family member to those kind of simple procedures, which has very slim chance to go wrong. And he lost his son. His pain would have been on a different level for sure. So after he lost his son, he started to tackle one of his biggest questions in life, how to be happy. I think what captivated me the most was the way he approached such a vague concept, happiness. Basically, he attacked the problem from an engineer's point of view. And that makes this book so special and unique. I personally really appreciated his data-driven analysis on happiness because it just makes much more sense and it's more convincing to me. Throughout this book, I resonate with his ideas and theories so intensely as it were thoughts that I've had for a while in my head, but I didn't know how to articulate. I think this kind of moment brings me joy when I'm reading a book. So I highly recommend this book to everyone, especially if you want to think about happiness in a logical way, then this is a must read. So next book is another fiction. So this story revolves around this girl named Veronica, who has almost everything she wants, but she feels like there's something missing in her life. So one day she decided to end her life by taking a handful of sleeping pills, but it doesn't go as she planned and wound up she waking on a bed in a mental hospital. In there she meets a bunch of interesting people and she started regretting how she took her life for granted. This is when she was informed that she has only a few days to live because her heart got weakened by her suicide attempt. And then, bam! She started living like there's no tomorrow. I really enjoyed this badass vibe started from this point, it gets really interesting. So what happens next? Well, I'm not gonna tell you for the sake of keeping the suspense for you guys. I think the curiosity to know what might happen with Veronica at the end kind of kept me reading and finish the book, so I don't want to ruin it for you. So check it for yourself. But I'm gonna tell you this. Reading this book made me think about the credibility of all the conventional things around me, things I was told growing up, and what's acceptable by society or not. So my conclusion was, well, who's gonna prove that following social norms and standard is the right thing to do? We were fed by those ideas, but is there a one-fits-all answer to every life? I really think that everyone needs to figure out about their life in their own way. And this book also made me think about what's really normal. What does it even mean being normal? We were born with different genes and traits into a different environment. In that sense, it's normal to be different. I think it's just absurd to put everyone in a small box called society and limit their potential and values. Anyways, what I wanted to say was everyone's life is beautiful and it has so much value and meaning in it. So we should embrace it and try to live to the fullest. That's what I wanted to say. By the way, Paulo Coelho is one of my favorite authors and I read most of his books. Yeah, most of them. He has this unique and artistic way to deliver his message and I really appreciate that. So I highly recommend his books if you haven't read his book yet. I spent most of my life figuring out what I can do to please my parents, friends, and everyone around me. And also I wanted people to perceive me as a good person, even if I have to pretend to be someone that I'm not, and even if I have to sacrifice a piece of myself. I tend to go the extra mile for people around me, and I used to expect them to do the same. This mentality became problematic because I started to see the gap between my expectation and reality getting bigger and bigger as I get older. Often my best was not enough for others, and some people even start taking advantage of me. There was a lot of guilt and resentment towards me and others. And then I started my YouTube channel and there was another level of negative energy flowing into my premises. Some people had negative feelings for me and criticized every single thing about me. How I talk, what I do, how I look, and so on. It was simply draining. And this is when I read this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a by Mark Manson. This book is a little bit pessimistic, to give you a heads up. So if you're a person trying to be optimistic all the time like myself, you might feel a little uncomfortable reading this book. But at the same time, you will get a lot of helpful advice and it will shift your mindset and perspective a little bit. Reading this book, it was like a cool uncle yelling at me. Why do you care so much about everything? Focus on meaningful things. Stop whining, it was your choice. I felt like I was getting yelled at whole time. It was definitely a different reading experience. The author, Mark Manson, he doesn't sugarcoat anything and deliver his message in a straightforward and blunt manner. There was humor and a lot of captivating stories which make the reading experience more enjoyable. I just love the way the author carries himself so casually without losing depth to his points. My takeaway message from this book was, you will struggle regardless and there will be challenges in life no matter how much you want to avoid them. So make conscious choices to set your value and stick to them. Stop caring about meaningless stuff. Instead, gear towards something meaningful to struggle for. Ouch. Yes, I know. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it somewhat helpful. If you have any book recommendation, please let me know in the comments because I'm always hunting for good books. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.